Hello, Python coders. Take a look at this program here. We're going to make some decisions with if and else in this particular program. As you can see, we're selling chicken nuggets meals for $4.99 each. However, there are discounts for quantity, as you can see indicated up here. Based on the quantity, you get a higher discount for a larger quantity. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prompt the user to enter the number of nugget meals that are desired. We'll store that in the variable qty here, as you can see. And then we're going to use if to determine the discount rate. We'll then determine the cost with this expression. And then we'll use an f string to print out the amount of discount as a percent. You can see here we're using the placeholder using the percent operator here to indicate that that's going to show as a percent. And for the cost, we're going to use a placeholder in the f string with 0.2f to show two decimal places, like currency, of course. But then if the quantity is not greater than 50, if it's greater than 25 and less than 50, then that defines the 15% discount range. If it's greater than 10 and less than 25, that puts us into the 10% discount range. And then finally, when if it's none of those, then there's no discount at all. As you can see, it's just multiplied by the regular price of $4.99. So I think this works okay. I'm going to give it a run. Let's check it out here, see how it runs. Okay, I'm going to get, I'll order more than the 50, so I'll go with 60. And that puts us into 25%, and that works out to $224.55. Okay, I'm going to run it again with a different number. We'll try it with this time with 20. And that puts us in the 10% range. Between 10 and 25 is 20, of course, and that gives us in the 10% range. So it looks like it's working okay. But this is not a good program. This is not a great programming style, even although it seems to work okay. Now, I hope while you were looking at this, you might have noticed that we've got lines that are exactly the same, right? These lines are exactly the same. These three are exactly the same as these three in each of the blocks here. So this isn't particularly good code. Let's show you a better way to do this program. We have another one here, which will pop up on the screen. Here it is. I'll call this one if else good. And take a look at the if, elif, and else blocks here. Much simplified. The only reason for the if decision here is to determine what the discount rate is. We don't have to conditionally execute the output at all. The only purpose of the if and the elif and the else is to determine the discount rate. So once we've got that, we can then, without indentation, notice that this is not in any code block. It's unindented. It's not inside this final else block. So all we need is one set of those duplicate statements after all of the decisions have been made. And I believe this will run the same way, but as you can see, it's much cleaner code, much easier to understand, and definitely easy to type in, of course, with fewer lines like this. I'm going to run it, and I'll try the same numbers that we had before, which was 60. Yeah, got the same result. I'll try it again. And I'll try the 20 again. Yep, 89, 82. So the output is the same, the program output is the same, but clearly the programs are quite different, and this one is much more preferred. So keep that in mind when you're writing your programs. If you find yourself duplicating statements in your if and elif blocks, there's probably a better way. You probably can handle the whole thing with one set of statements after all the blocks have been executed. And just one more thing. Notice my conditional statements here. Notice how they've been simplified. I don't have to say, for the second condition, I don't have to say greater than 25 and less than 50. All I have to say here is greater than 25, if I put these in the right order. Notice these are descending, 50, 25, 10, and then less than 10 would be in the else block. Well, if you put them in order like this, you don't need to use compound Boolean expressions. There's no need to use the AND operator at all here because, for example, for this decision here, it has to be less than 50, otherwise the program control won't get to this line in the code. Okay, it'll only get there if this is false. So there's no need to be redundant to say less than 50 because the code won't get here unless it is less than 50. Okay, so keep that in mind too. Don't necessarily use complex Boolean expressions if you don't need to. Okay, hope that helps.